Let's get physical, it's Jordan here, back again with this week's update and all the physical releases coming to the Nintendo Switch the 14th of April until the 18th. Now, before I get into this, I do want to make a couple of announcements just to get them over with. Number one, it's been requested many times by my fellow Brits. I know many of you just want to order UK copies of the games while supporting me. Well, now you can do so with my shop2.net affiliate link, which is down below in the description and pinned comments. Secondly, for my US of A audience, like 60% of you watching, the economy is, shall we say, weird, and prices are getting ridiculous, and so I've been looking for a good option for those who want to game but have to be careful not to blow $80 on Mario Kart World. It's understandable, and so for people in the US of A, I have partnered with GameFly, where you can rent games at a lower monthly cost and a much lower risk, or you can buy brand new games or even used physical releases for a much cheaper price. You can get a free GameFly trial with a link down below in the description, and that does help me a lot. Links are down below for GameFly and shop2.net. You'll find them in every video down at the bottom. I don't want to appear money grabby, but I personally think it's good to have some options, okay? And no, I'm not using Amazon. I refuse. Alright, let's get into this week's physical releases. Let's get on with it. Neva is failing at its name already because it's actually real, and it's releasing no matter how much it protests. This is the latest game from the studio that brought us the critical darling that is GRIS. This is bigger, and I won't say better because I don't know, but it looks more of the same but expanded upon. More action, more involvement, but just the same amount of beauty and wonder. This is coming in a standard edition as well as a collector's edition for Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 5. The collector's edition is just a mini one and includes a soundtrack CD plus download code and an art book. It's not massively more expensive than the standard edition. It looks lovely. GRIS is back again, and I have lost count which release this is. Is it the third or fourth time? I can't remember. Either way, it's back and it's coming in a standard edition as well as a deluxe edition. I'm sure it will be complete on cart because I think the last one was as well. Would be weird if they downgraded it. I think if you already own GRIS, there's no need to pick this one up, but the deluxe edition does look nice with a soundtrack CD and 100-page art book. Like, if any game needed an art book and a soundtrack CD release, it is this one. And my executive producer, Josh Foote, has chosen this as his pick of the week. Lunar Remastered Collection is finally releasing this week. Feels like it was an eternity since it was announced. I think the price for this one really surprised a lot of people. I don't think they were expecting a full price release, but hey, it's a niche product that I think we should be happy they decided to give a shot again. A remake of the first two games based on the PS1 editions and includes a retranslated script just to make the working design anti-fans happy. Hopefully it still has a little bit of character though. It has new voice acting. It looks nice. It looks nicer than the Suikoden remakes from an artistic perspective, and yeah, if and when I do pick this up, I will be looking forward to it. Now, gung-ho have, shall we say, being overly gung-ho about their capabilities as a physical publisher, and it kind of balls up the release a little bit since in the US of A, this is exclusive to Amazon. However, they did not open pre-orders, so you can only put your money down on release day. However, if you live in Canada, VGP pretty much hounded gung-ho to let them sell it in Canada, and they eventually gave in, and so you can purchase from VGP if you enjoy maple syrup. Shame it's not worldwide shipping, since I would have liked to have made money from such an exciting release, but whatever. In Europe, not to worry, it's still on Amazon, but you can pre-order it if you want to. And my executive producers, Justin PDC, Azrath, Super Benjulio, Rose, Robotech, Dane Wilkinson, Ishin, Jake Vav, Feig, Adamantium, Jennifer M, Brent McLean, Ghost Bune, Thorn Metal Luna, G Bautista 100, Kevin W, Instacritic, Jeddah Crow, Lewis K, Ethan Blue, Sora Cat, Dave Hustwaite, Cookie Kid, and Surfacing for Air have chosen this as their pick of the week. And if you want to purchase any games in this episode apart from this one because I've just said about it, then please consider using the links in the description and the pinned comment. Purchasing from VGP massively helps support me. It supports this channel, this series, so I can keep producing useful physical content for you guys. They're a good company with cheap prices in Canadian currency and free worldwide shipping on orders over 80 Canadian bucks, which is less than 60 American dollars. Plus, each week, if you buy something, you are put into a draw to have a chance of winning a $10 discount coupon. And this week's winner is Joseph G. Congratulations, Joseph. You should get an email from VGP with your discount coupon. If you don't, or they're a little bit slow, just message me, okay, and I will make sure you get it, okay? Jets and Guns Complete Collection is releasing in Europe, probably this week at retail. I think Red Art Games have started sending out their own stock recently, especially like the deluxe edition, but now you can get a normal retail release in Europe, although VGP are carrying copies. This contains 2 side-scrolling Euro shooters, which tend to have more of a focus on content rather than skill owning, but they look pretty sweet in my opinion. I do enjoy some chunky pre-rendered visuals in my old age. I'm sure more serious shmup fans may turn their nose up at this one, but I think I would enjoy playing them. I don't always need bullet hell cave shooters or 10-minute psycho experiences, okay? And my executive producers, Alexander Cato and Wixit, have chosen this as their pick of the week. Phantom Breaker Battlegrounds Ultimate is probably releasing this week physically in Europe, whereas North America, it's definitely been slightly delayed till May. This is a release a few people are quite excited for. I must admit the relevance has gone over my head. This is an updated port of a 2013 download title, and it's a beat-em-up starring characters from some Major's visual novels, as far as I can tell. And in turn, it is also a spin-off of a fighting game. You can have 8 players online for true side-scrolling chaos. It's looking smoother and flashier than ever. I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun. It's coming in a standard edition as well as a collector's edition, which is really quite expensive. That comes with a Mikoto figure, a manual, 2-disc soundtrack, lenticular magnet, collectible card, hardcover art book, and some exclusive DLC. This is going to be available on PS5 and Xbox alongside the Switch version, and my executive producers, Issa and D's Nuts, have chosen this as their pick of the week. Five Nights at Freddy's Help 1 to 2 is releasing this week on Switch and Xbox. I think it's already out on PS5. This was made with VR in mind, so I'm going to go out on a limb and say that, some things are going to be lost in translation to a normal console. It's a mini-game sort of horror game, at least that's what I'm getting from the trailer, and it's something different in the franchise. They seem to be willing to try different things nowadays. Big Helmet Heroes. My, how I salute my Big Helmet brothers. You're doing great things for humanity. I've got to be honest, the jokes are too obvious and too easy for me on this one, okay? So I'm going to refrain. I'm not a fan of low-hanging fruit, which often do accompany big helmets, I suppose, especially over the age of 30. Anyways, this is another chaotic beat-em-up where it does seem like there's been a lot of effort put into the presentation. Reviews are quite positive on this, with many comparisons to Castle Crashers, which is a classic of the genre. Lots of character types to play as to add to replayability. It's only releasing in Europe, and my executive producer Precision Plague has chosen this as his pick of the week. Asterix Maxi Collection appears to be releasing in Europe this week. Micro is just basically trying to give their games away at this point. Here you get 6 games that I'm pretty sure all have been released physically before in various guises. Slap 'em all, double XL, all that. Honestly, if you don't own any of them already, I think this is a pretty sweet package. I don't have any of them, so I will be looking at this in the future, that's for sure. I do love a good collection. Dreamcutter Standard Edition. A quick mention to this because it's getting another release. Well, it's the same game and all that, it's just a bit cheaper than the previous one because it's just a standard edition without a steel book. However, to make up for it, this does include 4 glossy, double-sided postcards with some naughty artwork on them, okay? And yeah, the game still does include nudity in this physical exclusive form. And my executive producer, Cartoon Soren, has chosen this as his pick of the week. Alright, let's jump into the low print limited releases. Planet of Lana is Super Rare's latest Switch game, with orders opening this Thursday. They're going to have PS5 editions alongside the Switch ones. And yes, there are multiple editions. Super Rare are doing a standard edition alongside a big deluxe edition. In total, there will be 5,000 copies of the Switch physical. This is a short, atmospheric, cinematic platformer where you have no defense. It's all about stealth rather than bashing aliens over the head. Apparently, it's very beautiful. And the music is exceptional, which is a shame then that the soundtrack is not included in the collector's edition. What's that all about? Anyways, this will probably sell out quite fast, so don't hang around on Thursday. And my executive producers, God of Resin and Vast Neon, have chosen this as their pick of the week. Assault Suit Leynos 2 Saturn Tribute is the first of limited run games' releases this week, and it's one we expected, and it's one I was going to eviscerate, but what's the point anymore? What's the point in anything? This is one of those games that the original Japanese release was supposed to have English, but the publisher decided against it at the last minute because they wanted to leave English for the Western publisher. And considering that the original release is going for $25 and has been going for quite a while now, and I purchased it for that price, limited run is going to be $35, so it just sucks. There's no reason aside from greed. Pity then that the cover art is smegging fantastic for limited runs. God, I love that artwork. It's also worth noting that this game will get a European retail release at some point, but if you want limited runs, you can pre-order it on Switch or PS5 on Tuesday, and my executive producer Dave Hallworth has chosen this as his pick of the week. Doom and Doom 2. The collection is going to be available on Friday. No, you did not hear that wrong. Limited Run are doing Doom 1 and 2 again. Third time lucky, maybe? Remember they did that collection that accidentally had DRM on it, and so they had to print a new fixed copy for those who applied? I think that's the one where you had to send in a video of you smashing your copy like some weird sort of snuff film. I can just imagine them in a dark room in the office with a boner watching that. Or was that something else? Anyways, here we go again. It's similar to the last one, except it's missing Doom 3. So I know what you're all thinking. What's the point? Well, as you may know, these Switch ports of Doom 1 and 2, over the years, they've been completely redone. I think they even replaced the original ports with completely new ones, which I'm told are much better and also include a lot more content. Like, for some reason, they've been getting free DLC over the years with new levels, like maybe some fan-made, professionally made as well. So actually, the versions that are on the cartridge that Limited Run did at first kind of pale in comparison to this one. Of course, you could just download the update on the first because it's all been free, but maybe they know people go nuts for complete on-cart versions, and I apologize if I may have helped fuel the frenzy. I didn't start it, okay? There's some nutcases on Twitter. But anyway, the main reason is probably money, because there are 3 editions to choose from: a standard edition, a collector's edition, and what I like to call the idiot edition, because anyone who buys this is a fool. Not because it's not pretty cool, I mean, it's a great idea. It's actually cool and actually quite funny, which is not something I associate with that company. Anyone who's associated with that company is about as funny as a wall waiting for the paint to dry while crumbling of cancer. However, the collector's edition box, like the actual box itself, can play Doom. How much Doom? Dunno, but you can play Doom on a screen on the box. And there's a little figurine that can also play Doom. Like, it's quite cool, it's quite funny. However, they realized they have somehow been funny, and they couldn't believe they had managed to be so they think they're kind of like the Messiah or something, and decided to charge you $666.66 for it. I mean, the fact that the price is also a joke means they are taking the piss out of you. They specifically chose that price because it's funny, not because it's worth it. I mean, you have every right to think this is cool, but if you buy it, I don't think you should have ownership of your own money. Like, you should be Britney Spears. It's for your own good. There are only 666 copies of it, so you're easily tracked down as well, so be warned about that. Anyways, at least the standard edition is just $30. That's mildly generous of them, I suppose. And my executive producer, Punky Dudester, has chosen this as his pick of the week. Alright, let's jump into the imports. Play Asia territory. If you import any game from Play Asia, you can click the link below and get 5% off with my code Jordan2025. And for this month, they have lowered the free shipping cost down to $80. So yeah, if you order anything in April, you can get free shipping for cheaper. Alright, Rusty Rabbit is really the only import worth looking into this week. It is a quiet week in Asia, but this is a cheap, cheerful import exclusive, slightly late for the Year of the Rabbit, but it's a side-scrolling action game starring a badass bunny smoking a carrot. I think you can see there's a good deal of effort gone into this one, like the presentation. It reminds me a little bit of Planet Robobot. Looks really good, a very cheap import. As English, and there is no word of a Western physical release. And my executive producers, the Nemo 6, They and JCrod7776 have chosen this as their pick of the week. Japan is also getting these games, one of which we have already, the other we will probably get in about 3 years' time when Axis Games decide to translate it. Alright, let's jump into the community spotlight. Executive producer Super Ben Julio sent in this photo picking up Steam World Heist 2. I think the artwork looks much better in this photo. I didn't say it before, but when I initially saw the artwork on like website listings, it looked really boring, but I think the colors look much stronger in real life. Executive producer Rose sent in this photo with 4 visual novel physical releases, mostly otomes. No one can tell me that ain't Michael on Desperate Drops. That's Michael Jackson right there. Andrew R sent in this photo showing his ever-increasing dedication to the Octopath series. I think Square Enix are probably happy with this series even though they're miserable about everything else. So I do see there being an Octopath 3 in the works. King Fab sent in this photo. Much culture, especially that Love Delivery Collector's Edition. I've seen that way more than I thought. It seems that boob mouse pads are the way to go. It's funny though, because on PlayAsia, I think I only saw like 6 copies of it, so I don't know. Executive producer Ishin sent in this photo showing that Tetris Forever did launch in Europe as I thought. Sadly, the cover art's a bit boring. Come on, it needs more explosions and stuff. Apple Sin sent in this photo, presumably with the complete on-card edition of ARMS, which VGP have had in twice now, both of which sold out quicker than I anticipated. Executive producer Vast Neon sent in this photo showing Metal Slug Tactics limited runs version, which I'm surprised that they put a little bit of cleavage on the cover. Usually they are very against that sort of thing. Argo sent in this photo showing the Octopath Double Pack, which has been very much in demand. Last time VGP got stock in, it lasted 28 minutes, and yes, it is complete on cart for both games. Executive producer Kevin W sent in this photo. One of these RPGs may not be in the same league as the other two, but I did quite enjoy Legends. It's a fun little Zelda-like. Executive producer Cartoon Soren sent in this photo with the Japanese Lollipop Chainsaw, which doesn't have the poorly photoshopped cover art on it. Nice. Executive producer D's Nuts finally got in the big chunky editions of the Persona games from Limited Run. They are so big, they barely fit in the photo. I'm still waiting for some sort of Asian double pack. Come on, please. Cultured Weeb lived up to their name as per usual. I know this is a Switch video series, but Venus Vacation is the #1 import of the last 12 months. Like easily, nothing has come close on Switch. And in fact, the 2 most popular imports in the last 12 months are both PlayStation 5 games. Can anyone guess what the second one is? Executive producer G Bautista 100 sent in this photo with 3 visual novels. Raging Loop is definitely one that should be on your list if you're trying to grab the absolute essentials. Executive producer Dave Hallworth sent in this photo. If you ever want a cheap game, I think Metaverse Keeper is eternally $14 at VGP. I don't know why it's always so cheap. It's not a bad game or anything, at least as far as I know. Maybe they just printed way too many. Executive producer Ghost Bune sent in this photo, picking up the collector's edition of Urban Myth Dissolution Center. Looks like a very interesting game. Steven665 sent in this photo. At the time of me making this, VGP have Romancing Saga 2, the remake, discounted to $28 American dollars. So if you're waiting for a price drop, do not hang around. It's a great price for what I've heard is a great game. James the First sent in this photo, picking up what is basically Venus Vacation's predecessor, plus the Asian edition of Batten Kaitos. I've got these loaded on my GameCube and I will give them a go one day, despite the card mechanics. Ice sent in this photo. If you only had to choose one, like only one to play, which one would it be? I think I may go against the grain and I think I'd choose Okami. Executive producer Lewis K sent in this photo, picking up La Mulana 1 and 2. This is the UK reprint of the game that didn't have all the, the forced collector's edition thing, just a bog standard release. PlayAsia have it, but it doesn't mean it's cheap, by the way. They still overpriced it. I think it's like $50 or something. Executive producer Vei, my man in Japan, sent in this photo, picking up the 3 main imports from last week. I'm still waiting for my Neo Geo releases because I was so excited about them, I actually forgot to order them. Executive producer Surfacing for Air sent in this photo with some really solid limited run releases. The kind of releases that make me feel this is what the company should be focusing on, like these should be limited run stuff. Executive producer, Instacritic sent in this photo, picking up Pettoon's Party, one of the most obscure import exclusives ever. I mean, who's really importing this? I admire the mission for a complete set. Alright, let's have a roundup. Kraken! Stuart R. Pabs. Reg. Stefan N. Brian G. Devil Angel. Ken P. Kevin the Time Geek. Bay 6. McLaren. Needless Dragon. Ashura G. Choco Loco James. Alright, if you want to send me pictures, the details are on the screen right now. As always, special thanks to my executive producers, Dane Wilkinson, God of Resin, Brent McLean, Alexander Cato, JCross7776, Punky Dooster, Cartoon Soren, Robotech, Raven Knight, Thorn Metal Luna, Issa, Vey, Offphone, Instacritic, Precision Plague, Alex M, Feig, Josh Foot, Ishin, Lewis K, Kevin W, Jennifer M, Super Ben Julio, Double Dave, Husway and Hallworth, Wakesett, Sora Cat, The Nemo 6, Ghost Bune, G Bautista 100, Rose, Adamantium, Azrath, Jake Vav, Ethan Blue, D's Nuts, Jeddah Crow, Brotorius, Surfacing for Air, Justin PDC, Vast Neon, and Cookie Kid. Thank you so much for your support, plus you watching right now. If you watched all the way through, please leave me a moon emoji in honor of the Lunar Remastered Collection. And just a heads up, because the Switch 2 is coming up, and I'm not saying the Switch 1 is coming to an end, okay? But to kind of celebrate the transition, I'm going to be making a video about my favorite physical releases on Nintendo Switch. I think I'm going to do like my top 10 favorite ones, but also I'm going to ask my executive producers to tell me theirs, and I'm going to talk about their favorite physical releases. So if you want to get in on that, then you can join the Patreon down below as well. Anyways, I hope you all have a fantastic day. Take care.